Hey everyone, I just want to do one quick final video update of the Michael Myers house. Um, as you can see, it is finished, and if you haven't seen any of the, you might have seen one or two videos being posted around on Facebook or my Instagram, but this will be the final reveal. Sorry, trying to get it centered a little bit. If you haven't checked out, real quick, if you haven't checked out my first two videos, I did a first update back before I painted the house, so you'll actually get to see some of the different things that went into putting this house together. You'll see it in all the different colors and all that. So the second video, you'll actually see it painted without the base. I had the steps in the house, and that was about it. And now I have the base, the bushes, and the little walkway. So let's, I guess we'll just get into it real quick. Bear with me one second. All right, and we'll start with the little walkway. So I actually made these out of epoxy sculpt. And it is black epoxy sculpt. That way I didn't have to worry about anything chipping, or if Michael can't see that top step with this mask on and he falls and chips my slate. So I don't have to worry about any of that. Like I said, it is black with a little dry brushed gray on there. And I did, if I can pick it up with my phone, I sculpted in some little cracks in there, so you'll see some cracks here and there. Get in like that. You'll see a couple of them, trying to get the light right. So you'll see some cracks here and there. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Like I said, it is just black epoxy, so I don't have to worry about chipping or anything like that. And they are glued down to the base, so they don't move. Figured they're flat enough, I don't have to worry about them, anything snagging on them, popping them off or popping them loose. Second, let's move over here. We've got the Strode sign, the realty sign, and that's just plugged into the base. I printed the sign off the Google, laminated it, added some toothpicks for posts, and just dremelled 2 holes into the wood base, and they just plug right in. And I added some moss around it, just kind of hide the flatness. And let me see if I can move over here. You'll see we got bushes. We've got 4 mulch beds total. And how I did it, if I can get this in here good, they are separate from the base, so I can just lift them up. And they push right back into place. And of course, like I said, added the moss around the edges. If I didn't add the moss, that was like kind of the last thing that I did with the lawn. If I didn't add that, it just looked real flat. Everything, there was no, I don't know, realism to it, I guess is the right word. It was just the yard looked flat, and then you saw just a Strode Realty sign pop out of the yard, or out of this green whatever. So it kind of gives it the effect that there is grass there, and it's not just all a flat board. And like I said, there's 4 mulch beds, and they all just raise right up, so I can move them around. And the steps, they're still separate, so they lift up. The railing just plugs right into the top here. I just drilled a small little hole And this is just floral wire. I'm not sure what gauge, maybe 12. And it just comes in a spiral, and you've got to flatten it out. Then I bought black just so I don't have to paint it, and same as the slated walkway, you know, you don't have to worry about chipping or rubbing or anything like that. And I just dry brushed a little bit of gray primer paint on there and dulled it up. And same at the bottom, just drilled a hole just like I did the realty sign, and plugs right in. Add some moss, and you're good to go. And the leaves that you see on the steps, they actually came from the NECA box set. I think it was released in 2004. It came with these two figures, Michael and Dr. Loomis, and that pumpkin in the back. And it was just a box set. It was a display with the front steps, a little small portion of the porch, and it was a grassy walkway with the two supports, those porch supports that are on either side of him. And that's what I based, I believe I've mentioned this in one of the past videos, but I based my measurements off of that. So the steps and the porch height are the same. Those support beams that are holding the roof up, or the overhang, they're the same length as NECA's. So I measured all of that and went from there, and I just kind of based everything off of those measurements, if that makes sense. Just in a combination of looking at any picture I could find on the internet, whether it was from the movie, replica houses, like real living houses, the actual Michael Myers house, you know, videos. I was looking anywhere that I could just to try to get as much reference as I could, and try to get the measurements as close as possible as I could. So a lot of detail went into it. A lot of thought went into it. Like I said, I did just kind of dive into it, thinking it was going to be real simple, which it wasn't hard. It's not that it was hard. It was just I made quite a few trips to the hobby store to get more wood and more knives, you know, or X-Acto blades. It was just, I felt like I was constantly just going into the hobby store. So, but no, I had a blast building it. I'm happy it's done. But it is definitely a piece that I'm proud of, and will always sit on display as long as I have room for it. Another quick thing I wanted to mention before I run out of space on my phone or time. The Diode Structures page on Facebook. If you haven't checked that out yet either, check that group out. Awesome community, a lot of awesome customizers or builders of dioramas like this, whether it be alleyways, destructed warehouses, science labs, anything you could think of, Batman's cave, anything. But it's, like I said, just an awesome community, a lot of cool customizers and builders in there, and that are willing to share their information and things that they've learned through trial and error. So I'm on there. I don't post a whole lot because I do most of my stuff is custom work on action figures. So I do a lot of customs. When I can, I sneak in a diorama here and there, but most of my stuff is just custom action figures, which you may see a video of that eventually. I don't know. It takes a lot of time to do stuff like that, so maybe we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like I said, check out my last two videos and come back and check this thing out again and pass it around. Let everybody see it. Let everybody appreciate it. I sure do, and I appreciate everybody watching, all the kind words and input that everybody had whenever I did show a progress picture on this thing. So big thanks to all you guys. You know who you are. Talk to you later.